All right, well, welcome everybody to Astronomy Daily Live, or as I like to say, almost daily live. So, yeah, once in a while, like yesterday, I was coming up to a time where it's like, okay, I've got to get into the live stream mode. I usually start that process, um, that process. Um, um, Around 1:45 UTC, and usually if I get everything uh, done on time, I am sitting here at about 1:56, 1:57 with absolutely nothing to do whatsoever, um, just waiting for 2 hours UTC to occur. And you know, usually those are very, very, very long minutes. I usually don't pay attention to the time all that much. Don't really care. Sometimes I do. Most of the time I don't. If I need to know what time it is, I can definitely very, very easily find out. So if nothing else, just ask somebody, right? So there's always somebody around, and these days everybody has access to the time. It's those very, very few that just don't live by any clock time, really. There are certain things that demand a clock time, and so yeah, I'm forced to live, by clock time to a certain extent. Anyway, howdy to Uncle Bill, if he's there. Don't know. He checked in much earlier. But Andy Cowley is in the chat. Hey, welcome. Nice to have you here. So, all right. Well, before we get into the astronomical thing, I wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that Google Hangouts, as we are doing it right now, is apparently, quote unquote, going away August 1st. So let's see, that's probably August 1st in the United States. So that's probably more like August 2nd UTC, just a guess. But so whatever it is, Google Hangouts as it is right now is not going to be apparently on and after August 1st. So that's only in a couple more days, a few more days. And I've been thinking about what I want to do to deal with that, because the new recommended means of doing pretty much exactly the same thing as this is a much diminished version of this. It's all I get is the ability to live stream this video and this sound, and that's it. There are two things that make this live stream relatively unique. I mean, I think there's a lot more than two, but there's two main ones. The first one is that I've been able to share my screen and sort of take you with me. You sort of jump onto my boat, and then we all just sort of go. And that works really, really, really well. And but that is going away. So my ability to take you with me in my boat is not going to be an option anymore. The other thing that I think makes this live stream unique is the chance for sort of viewers that we have gotten to know gotten to know via the chat, because they've stopped in and contributed to the conversations and after a certain amount of time, it's like, wow, okay, this sounds like a nice person, and invite them onto the panel. And the panel is where a lot of great kinds of conversation can take place that doesn't require me to talk the whole time. I am a very, very, very quiet dude, right? It's not that I'm shy, definitely not, but I prefer just sitting back and listening and watching, and not necessarily participating in any kind of conversations at all, but just sitting there with the background. So doing this is the only thing that is very, very not me at all. But it's all I'm doing is verbalizing what I'm thinking. So this is basically what I would be thinking if I wasn't saying it out loud also. So at the moment, that is our most direct link to each other's brains. And yeah, it works pretty darn well. So having the panel is not going to be an option either. So the two things that do and will continue to make this live stream really, really, really great, being able to share my screen and have panelists, those two things are gone. They're just gone as of August 1st. Cheers, by the way. This is some hydrogen hydroxide here. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Everything is really, really great here because I think I have a partial solution that I don't know. I sort of like it at a lot of different levels. So, cheers. So, and I actually want to start this sort of new thing, starting basically right now. I'm going to explain it, and then I'm going to start doing it, and I want to give this about a week or so, because today is going to be just absolutely, completely ad-libbing. I have absolutely no idea, right? I have absolutely no idea how this is actually going to work out, at least. But I think it's a good idea. What I'm going to do is, when I want to start sharing my screen, if it's a website, I will post a link to the website in the chat, in the YouTube chat. Okay, the YouTube chat I will still be able to post things to, and all of that. Okay, and what everybody is going to have to do is they're going to have to click on that link and go to that site on their own machines. Right? So what we're going to do, just, and this is sort of, one of the interesting aspects is that for a few seconds, there are going to be, I don't know, 10 or 12 or so hits just sort of simultaneously, bang, on that one server. And that is going to be all of us arriving, right? So instead of you jumping onto my boat and we go that way, what we do is that we each have our own boats. And, you know, you don't have to call it a boat. You can call it a spaceship. You can call it, you know, um, whatever you want. I give you the destination coordinates and you go like that, right? And then what I'm going to have to do is be able to direct you and say, okay, I'm doing this now. You know, so you know, I'm going to have to really be able to guide you through all of these things. But it's incredibly interactive because you have to participate. If you're not participating, then you're really not getting the um, full deal, right? If you're just sitting back and listening, I don't know. I don't know what that is going to sound like, and that's why I want to start practicing it right now, because I don't know if I can do that or not, and I don't know if anyone wants to, you know, have that kind of participatory interaction, you know, where you're active. Up until this point, you all have been very, very, very passive. Just, you know, typing in the chat, coming on here. But in terms of, you know, uh, what each live stream, where do we go, what do we see, all of that has been, you know, completely in my hands. And now what I'm suggesting um, is that you know, I sort of act as your guide. I tell you where to go and what to type and where to look and all of that. Um, Patrick Manny, hey, nice to see you. I would love to use OBS. I would absolutely love to use it. Absolutely, it is great, and could, I could. Um, there's only one major problem that I have, and that is I do not have the upload bandwidth necessary to uh, you know, to send decent video. It is 10 times worse than what you're seeing now. It's really, really bad. It's choppy. It's you know, 144p, and it's really, really, really bad. It's absolutely useless. So I just don't have the bandwidth to run OBS. I would love to run OBS here. I would absolutely love it. I just don't have the bandwidth. That is something that I can probably, and I think I've mentioned this, you know, before. Um, um, that's probably something that I can do at some point. At this point, it's just, it sort of comes down to I don't think that I can really afford it at this point. That might be changing soon. So you know, I've got a Patreon um, thing now, and those funds go to, you know, basic living expenses, just to you know, that is sort of the grease that makes everything go. So you know, you got to apply enough grease and then everything goes. Um, but yeah, it's just a bandwidth problem. I've got a, well, um, it's an old um, Windows 7 laptop, and OBS runs on there beautifully, no problem at all. Um, I could probably upgrade that. It's a pretty old machine. Don't know how much longer it has, but so yeah, I would love to do that. But I think this idea is an interesting one because it makes you all, it forces you all to be active, and that's something that I haven't really seen anywhere, at least as far as I can tell. Not that I look anywhere. Yeah, I know support for Windows 7 ends in 2020, but that's okay. You know, things will still run, and you know, if it isn't, you know, connected, oh well, it's going to be connected to the internet. So, yeah, I don't know. Um, but you know, getting up to Win 10 is definitely an option, either on that machine or maybe a new machine, whatever, whatever. So, but anyway, I am going to explore this um, idea because it's really, it's sort of the only option that I have. Um, ah, and yeah, I think it'll work, and it is something that, as far as I know, nobody else is doing. And I want to be, um, and in fact, I've always sort of been in front of a lot of curves. And I think this is one of them, trying to find ways of interacting with your audience actively. And yeah, if I can make you click on links, um, and go, to various websites, that has a lot of interesting implications. So yeah, I think that's an interesting path, and so I want to try it. I want to try it, um, as I said, starting right now, and it's is is Google Hangouts going to go away on August 1st, or what? Okay. Um, I told the story the other day about Yahoo Mail. Several years ago, Yahoo Mail, or Yahoo, um, came up with a new mail, you know, um, um, email uh, website, right? To read your email on Yahoo. And I was I was on the old one, as was, pretty much everyone. And so, I started getting these messages from Yahoo asking me if I wanted to switch to the new Yahoo Mail. And my first answer is no. I mean, why would I want to switch when what I have is just fine? So no. Well, that went on for maybe about 5 years or so. They even, for a couple of years, they even sent me messages saying, we are going to switch your email to the new one on this particular date at this particular time. And I'm like, you know what? This is your email program. If you decide to switch it, then just switch it. Okay. If you're going to ask me if I want to switch it, I'm going to say no. So this went on for about 5 years or so. And one morning I got up and I checked my Yahoo Mail, and it had switched to the new one. And it's like, hallelujah! They finally just did it, and that's all. So I don't know if the Google Hangouts is going to do the same thing. They're sort of saying that, okay, it's going to be August 1st. It's going away. But maybe it isn't. So, I mean, I'm going to continue doing exactly what I have been doing, until I can't. And then when I can't do that anymore, then I'll switch to this other method. And during that whole time, whatever that is, during that whole time, I will have hopefully practiced and gotten well enough to be able to guide you all properly. So yeah, that is going to be a challenge, and that's what I want to start working on. So I think, because I still have the ability to share my screen, I think I'm still going to share my screen, but I'm going to I'm going to behave as though I am guiding you all through this. So once in a while, there are some things that aren't on the web. They're just screens. I'm working on some code, or I have some plots, or whatever else. For those, I think what I'll do is I will post those images over to my Discord server, the link to which is down below in the description. I will post the pictures there. I'll try to I will try to timestamp them in some way, at least with the date, if not the actual time. Yeah, that could work, I suppose. So yeah, so I'll post those over to the Discord server. Probably at least for now. I'll post them over on the live stream chat channel. But I might make a new channel just for images that I post on the live stream. I can call the channel Live Stream Images or something like that. So yeah, I think it's an interesting thing, and this at least solves the biggest thing that I want to be able to do is share with you what sort of I am exploring and all of that. And this is, as far as I can tell, the only way to do that. I've been thinking about this and thinking about this and thinking about this, and it's really weird. I mean, this has only been an idea for maybe the past hour and a half. It just came to me just like very extremely recently. So I'm still working it all out in my head. But yeah, I think I want to do it starting right now. So cheers. And see if you can follow along. Because some feedback on your part would be really great. Because if this works, as I said, I see it as something really interesting, because it activates the viewer in a way that I don't think anybody is doing that. Viewership is very passive. But this is a way to at least get you all going a little bit. So all right, well, let's do it. I wanted to start today off just by saying that I had a very fun distraction today. I was working on my Jupiter moon photometry project, and I was sort of done with that. Worked on that earlier this morning, and I was sort of done with it around noon or 1 o'clock or something. So it's like, okay, what am I going to do the rest of the day? I'm just sort of today. I decided it's like, I'm just going to take it easy. I'm just going to sort of just work on a couple of things, and then try to have some fun. And I was thinking, well, maybe some music. I don't know. I don't know. But then I remembered a paper that I glanced at, and I cannot remember where I saw this, but what they were talking about piqued my interest because it talked about two things that I'm extremely interested in, and that is the Galilean moons of Jupiter and objects that pass in front of stars doing an occultation. And this paper was describing um, some occultations that Europa uh, did of a star, and they observed it, and they're talking about the observation and what they found out and all of that, and so that has been bouncing around in my head for, I don't know, at least a few days or so now. Cheers. And they, I think they actually um, uh, explained there right in the abstract. I think it's all I read was the abstract. They explained in the abstract that they had used JPL Horizons website coordinates and Gaia data release 2 um, star coordinates, and when I read that, it's like, well, yeah, it's all you got to do is get the coordinates for your target that is going to be doing the occultation. In this case, well, at least in the case of the paper, it was Europa. Um, uh, you know, uh, Go to the Horizons site, get the position of Europa over some period of time, um, and do it in some kind of a step. Every hour, every minute, every day, whatever you want. And then for each one of those, for each um, uh, position at a particular time, you match that position with the position of the stars in the sky, the background stars in the sky. And well, if the position of those two objects are close enough, there's a distinct possibility that the object in the front is going to block the light from the object in the back, and that has to do with the apparent size of these objects. Now, a background star is way back there, and a moon of Jupiter is very, very, very close. So um, don't quote me exactly on these numbers, but Europa is probably on the order of 30 to 100 milliarc seconds. Yeah, 30 to 50 milliarc seconds in angular size. A background star is going to be 30 to 50 micro arc seconds, 1,000 times smaller. So the chances of this relatively large object actually passing in front of a relatively small object. Well, I'm not able to do this really, really well. There we go. You've got a good chance because this thing is so much bigger. At least the apparent size is. So I thought, well, hey, I'm going to do that for. I actually started looking at Callisto just because I just sort of randomly chose that one, and I realized to get a perfect or a near perfect hit with such a small target as Callisto is. Again, about 30 to 50 milliarc seconds in size is my guess. Um, you know, uh, for that guy, to pass in front of a star, pretty rare, pretty rare. So then I thought, well, hey, what about Jupiter? Jupiter is huge, huge. It covers at least relatively speaking, a pretty large area of the sky. So it would have a much better chance to pass in front of a relatively bright star. So it's like, okay, so I switched to Jupiter, and I took a look, and yeah, actually in the next year there are quite a few occultations that Jupiter is going to do, um, um, passing in front of some stars that are at least brighter than 12th magnitude. So not bad. Um, there, for us here in the northern hemisphere, there's sort of a neat one on September 15th. That's UTC, right? So for me, that would be the evening of the 14th. But from 109 UTC to about 355 UTC, Jupiter is going to be passing in front of about a magnitude 10.5, 10.6 star. Pretty bright, pretty bright. Now, the beginning of the occultation, as I said, starts at 106 UTC. And for me, here in southern Arizona, um, um, that is a little early. I don't think that I'm going to catch that. Ice Wallow, come. Hey, how are you? Nice to have you here. So we are talking astronomy and space and science, and just having a fun, casual get together here. We try to get together each and every day at 2 hours UTC and have some favorite consumable of choice. I've got some hydrogen hydroxide here. Not much left. It's about halfway. So, well, cheers and welcome. Anyway, so I thought, let's look at Jupiter and see, what it's going to be doing over the next year. And as I said, there's a nice one happening on September 15th. I'm not going to be able to see when Jupiter starts occulting this star, but it definitely is going to be dark enough and visible to be able to see the star re-emerge as Jupiter moves against the background sky. So yeah, that's happening on the 15th of September. UTC, somewhere around I don't know, somewhere between like 3:30 and 4 hours UTC, somewhere around there. Yeah, I could probably get some more accurate numbers, but that usually does. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting event. And I guess what I wanted to do is let me share this image with you all that is actually over on my Discord channel. So I think everybody knows where that is. If you don't, I'm going to post a link to it. I'm going to do that right now. Let's see. Edit invite link. No limit. Create a new link. There it is. Whoop, Need to go back here, X that out. Okay. So go over and join that if you haven't already, and then go to my my science channel. And when you get over there, you can click on that plot that has those black dots and the red line. And then if you want to, you can open the original, and that will give you your best view. So that's what I've done. So what you've got here is right ascension along the bottom. You see it says RA way down at the bottom there. And then you have declination along the left side, going from a large negative declination to a smaller negative declination. So yeah, this is a sort of a small piece of the sky, and here's this red line. Now, this red line is the path of Jupiter over a 24-hour period on the 15th of September 2019. You can see at the top it says Jupiter occults TYC 6231-2009-1, 15 September 2019, 109 to 355 UTC. So Jupiter is moving basically from right to left in that 24-hour period. And as you can see, it passes right in front of a pretty bright star. And that star is the TYC 6231-2009-1. So that is an occultation event that is happening at that time. So I thought that that was pretty neat because it was pretty easy. It was actually really, really easy to make this plot and see what's happening. It was sort of done in a brute force way, but that's all right. You know, these computers were built to compute. They weren't necessarily built for you know, playing movies and whatnot. They're good at doing that too, but what they're really, really good at is computing. So doing stuff like this, I really, really enjoy, and it's kind of neat. You know, you can predict when things are going to happen before they happen. So that's a lot of power that we astronomers have. Cheers. All right, well, great. So I think, am I, oh, I'm not. Okay, I thought I was sharing my screen. Let me do that. Because I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to continue sharing my screen as long as it allows me to. That's all I can do. So, okay, here we are. There's the screen that you should be looking at. Maximize that. Pull in a little bit. You can see it's happening. You know, this is 0 hours UTC, and this goes through a 24-hour Earth day. So this is 23:59 way over here. So yeah, you know, the fact that it starts relatively soon after the day begins. It starts around 109, something like that. The by the way, the size of these dots indicate the brightness of the star. So a bigger star means a brighter star, which also means a lower magnitude. So this, of course, is the star that I'm talking about. And this is about magnitude 10.6, 10.5, something like that. No, you cannot have that. This chart that I plotted here, however, goes all the way down to 15th magnitude. So the smallest dots that you see here that aren't really even dots anymore, they're little plus signs. Those are, oh, and there's even smaller ones. There's little squares. Those are 15th magnitude stars. So as you can see, Jupiter probably also occults some other stars too, but these are way too faint for at least my system to see in a reasonable amount of time. So I've got to take some pretty short exposures. So yeah, I don't know how that's going to work out, because the difference in magnitudes here between this star, this 10.6 magnitude star, and Jupiter, which is probably like what, magnitude -2. So that's 12 magnitudes. Okay, 12 magnitudes is 2.5 exponent 12. So that's 60,000. It's 60,000 times brighter. Jupiter is 60,000 times brighter than this star. So yeah, I've got to think about, if I'm going to do this observation, I have to think about how am I going to get Jupiter and this star in the same image at the time that it it ends the occultation. So yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that a little bit. It's kind of a neat thing to think about, I guess. Anyway, so that is going on. There are a few others as well. I think what I might do is I'm going to try to let's see here. Year. Is this it? I think this might be it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy my screen. Ooh, I don't know if this is going to work or not. Let's find out. Zoom in a little bit. Zoom in. Okay, I can get everybody on there. So now I'm going to grab my screen. Grab the whole screen. And I know that you can see this when I'm sharing, but I'm going to put this over on the Discord now. As soon as it takes its snap, and save it. I'm going to go over to here. Sorry that you have to deal with all this. Almost there. Let's see, I'm going to put it over in the Discord. Oh, nope, that's not it. There it is. Okay, I'm going to put it over on the live stream chat channel. See if this works. Whoop, come on. Try it again. Oh, it's the wrong place. Sorry. There we go. Upload that. Okay, so now you can grab that view from my Discord server. And what you'll see is a whole bunch of groups of numbers. There's a July 29, July 30th, upper left corner. Do you see the date and the time there? So you can see that this is every hour, 21, 22, 23, da, 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 right? Over here, this last column, this is the distance in arc seconds between the center of Jupiter and this particular star, which has a Gaia number. Okay, so there's a Gaia number. It's got its right ascension in degrees, its declination in degrees, the star's magnitude, and, as I said, the distance between the star and the center of Jupiter. And as you can see, this is all the same star. And this is showing that Jupiter gets really, really close and then moves away. So this is the whole event. So it gets really, really close to the center of Jupiter. All of these would be occultation events. All of these are. Some of them are deeper than others, which means they last longer. Because they're hitting a different part of Jupiter. Yeah. If it's going right through the exact center, then there would be a maximum amount of time. Like this one, see, it's getting super close. It's getting within an arc second. Center of Jupiter is going within an arc second of of the star. So you can see that in the second group, dated August 21st. See how it goes down to 0.938809 there. On the 21st of August, it's 7 hours. Yeah. So here's another one. Just barely skims Jupiter, it looks like. So that might be an interesting event because it's not going to last very long. It's happening on August 28th. And at least where this data point is, that's at 3 hours UTC. So here's a few others. And you can see that this one is a pretty bright star. And this one down here is a pretty bright star. This is the one on the 15th of September. Now, what I can do is I can actually plow down into this. I can look at just the 15th of September every minute. So I'm looking way at the bottom, September 15th there. Okay. And that's all of them for actually the entire year from July 28th, 2019 to July 28th, 2020. That's all of them. There aren't going to be any more occultations this year after September 15th. I think I did it for a whole year. I think so. Pretty sure. What we can do is we can look at part of the entire year. We do that. Why don't we get to the smallest or to the closest? It's going to be right around there. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this screen. I'll do exactly the same thing. I'll just grab this screen and then I'll share it, or I will post it over on the Discord. Trying something new here, folks. Okay, so we're saving that. And now I'm going to save this over to the Discord. Somehow. How that got over there. Okay, so now we're going to post this over here. There we go. So this is just a little bit of a sample, but I wanted you to see it because it hopefully, I think, yeah. So if you open that original, that's exactly what I'm looking at. And if you look at the far right column, it says 7.202273. That one, that column. If you go down, see how the numbers are getting smaller. That means the distance between the planet center and the star is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And as you can see, if you scroll down, eventually it comes to a point where it doesn't get any smaller. It starts getting bigger again. And that point is right about in the middle. If you now go over, if you find the smallest point, it's actually 5.055702. If you now go straight over in that same row, you'll see that that happens at 2:32 UTC on September 15th. That's the middle. But the beginning, I guess I'm going to go over to this one. The beginning starts at 1:09 UTC and goes to 3:55. So I can show you that. Show you that there. Seeing its time. There it goes. So you just have to look at the upper panel here when I push it over to the server. Let's see what we can do here. That can go away. That can go away. I'll try to push this. Oh, this is not going to be easy. So just when you get this, just look at the top panel, the one that's overlaying everything else. And what you'll see there way at the top on the far right, 22.473267. That's how many arc seconds the center of Jupiter is from the star at that time. You can go all the way over to the left. It says September 15th, 1:09. So that's when this is that far away. And then if we go all the way to the end, grab that one. Current window. We'll just do the current window. You don't have to see everything. You never know what I might not want you to see. Who knows? I don't even know. Let's see. So we can push this one over here. So you can look at the end. This is the end, the bottom of that file. There's 167 entries. So that's 167 minutes. 167 minutes is 2.78 hours. It's 2 hours and 47 minutes. So yeah, if you look way at the bottom, it says September 15th, 3:55. So that's the end, and you can see that the distance is about the same. I set a limit of 22.5 arc seconds, just because that is about the radius of Jupiter right now. That's a little bit more than what it is. I think it's about 18 or 19, something like that. But I set it, to 22.5. Seemed like the right thing to do. So okay, well, cool. We need to finish up our ring moon systems node, this guy. I'm going to post a link to that in the chat. Cheers, 9-inch colas. So go ahead and bombard them over there. Just take a look. But I'm looking at the time, and I'm thinking, we're getting close to the top of the hour. Why don't we just end this for today, and then we will pick up nice and fresh tomorrow on the rings and moons node, and finish that up. We've looked at that a couple of days already, and there's a lot there. There's just a lot there. But I'm gonna try really, really hard not to get too stuck in one place, because it's so easy. It's so easy to find an area that's vast, and sort of get stuck there for longer than maybe we should. So we're in exploration mode. We're not necessarily into drill really, really, really deep mode. So okay, yeah. So let's end this for today. So cheers. I'm gonna take a look at the chat one more time. I think this format might work. I think it might. So let me know what you think. Let me know that if you can follow me or not. It's either this or go to something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a plan B at this time for me. And more work for me, I think that's okay. That's all right. I don't mind that. But if it works, then maybe that's the thing to do. So like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this for a week. Okay, so today is day number 1. Tomorrow will be day number 2, and we'll do this for 7 days. 7 is a nice prime number. Also happens to be a week. So we'll do this for a week. This will push us past August 1st. So we'll see if August 1st is a real thing or not. If it is, then at least I will have practiced. What, today's the 28th. I got the 29th, the 30th, and the 31st. So I'll have 4 practice days there, and maybe even 5. Yeah, hang with me. Let's see how this works. I definitely want your feedback. And like I said, this is a brand new idea just in the past couple hours, 2.5 hours, something like that. So I've got to think it through a little bit more, see how it's going to work. But I like the concept. And today I practiced a little bit. Didn't seem too bad, but I would definitely like your feedback on that. If you're viewing this later, that's going to be a little harder, because it's all you're basically going to have is audio. So drawback maybe. But you can follow in the chat. The chat does follow the replay, so you'll have all the links. So maybe that'll work. Maybe that isn't such a big deal. So let me know. I'm gonna continue to think about it. I'm gonna give it 6 more days, and then I'll do a hard evaluation. After the 7th day, I will definitely take a hard look at that and say, is this going to work? My sense is now, yeah, I think it will. Yeah, Patrick, that's exactly what I'm going to do. That's exactly what I'm being forced to do. So yeah, that's but until I have to, I'm going to do this. because this is what I prefer. And if on August 1st, this is no longer an option, then I'm going to have to switch to live streaming on YouTube itself, which, as I said, has its drawbacks, but I've got to work around. So, okay, everybody, it's 3 hours UTC. It's time to go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's time. I'm being called. So cheers. I will see you tomorrow. We're going to finish up the PDS rings and moons node. All right, everybody, take care. Peace, cheers, and all that. I will see you on the spin. Bye.